What's up there, YouTubians, viewers of the interwebs? Hope you all had a good Thanksgiving and got to spend plenty of time with the family and eating some really good food. And you know, one thing I'm always thankful for having such a great support as far as the family. And so brings me to this video. I told you I was going to do a review of it. I actually had some video footage lined up, and I went to go edit it, and I realized it's not there, only bits and pieces of it. So today I'm going to review the Echo DCS 5000 battery powered rear handle chainsaw. Okay, I'm going to see if I can get it in there, but it's an 18-inch bar, and you can't really see it, but it is a 3/8 quarter pitch chain. I did a review on the 2500T not too long ago. Look back in the history, you'll see its video on it. I'm just using it for some comparisons wise as like size, just to kind of help out. Plus I kind of wanted to show this battery in this one. So you're probably wondering why I said that this saw is a bad saw in the title, but it's really actually a very well made saw. So the first thing about this saw is just overall simplicity of it. Super easy. You got your chain brake, you pull it back to reset it, and they do have safety mechanisms built in, so the trigger just can't automatically be pulled like this one. So if you kind of watch me right here, it's not going, even if I pull it back. Okay, I have to press this little button right here for it to run. So once I press it, then it'll starts pulling up. So this top handle and this rear handle saw come from the same 56 volt family, and I'm kind of working on, just personal wise, getting more and more of these battery powered equipment just to have for really around the house. You'll see me use this saw a lot when I'm doing some of the tree climbing videos, and even just general around. I really got this saw for a couple reasons. Number one is I have a lot of people that help me out a lot, and the simplicity of this saw is really super easy. It's just pretty much press the button and pull the trigger and go. There's no you know, choke to start, primer bulb to push, you know, pull string to pull. It's pretty much just press the button and go. I really got it for me to help with when I'm doing the chipping. It's just easy to grab and go. I don't have to crank it up. So I'm trying to cut limbs and stuff that are, you know, too wide, and try to get in the feed chute. I just had something quicker. I didn't want to use this one all the time for it, because when you got to stop and then you got to crank up a saw, it kind of gets old every time you have to do that. I don't know the overall weight. I'm gonna put it into the I'll put it on the screen when I'm editing this video. It's probably around the maybe 14 to 16 pound range, could be a little bit. It does have the bigger E-Force 56 battery. So Echo comes out with the two different batteries types, and I'm gonna move this over here so you can kind of see it. Some of their equipment use this. Some of their equipment uses this size battery. Some of them can be interchangeable, but some can't use this one, for those that have to use this one, if that makes any sense. An example, this saw, if this battery runs down, I can stick this battery in here. Oops, wrong way. I can stick this battery in here and it will still run. Okay, it won't give me the long run length as this battery is. I don't know the exact numbers on them. I'll try to put something on the screen. Screen to kind of give you an idea of the two, but you have that availability now. Like on this little saw, okay, this big battery is not going to fit in there. Now, I talked about it in my last review. Yes, I could probably cut it out to make it work, but honestly, I wouldn't want to do it because the handle for it attaches to it, and B, it's just going to make it more heavier. I like the smaller battery because this saw is like super lightweight. So, but enough of that one. We're talking about this one. This saw is actually very well made, so don't let the title disguise you. These do have the anti-kickback chains on them. They probably have different chain options, or I can probably change the bars out if I wanted to. I probably won't do it. But pros and cons to this saw: easy to use for a new beginner. Like I said, pull a trigger and start cutting. Make sure you have your proper safety gear on when you're using any type of chainsaw or cutting equipment. Weight wise, it's not, like I said, it's not super light as far as a top handle, but it's not super heavy. It is kind of cumbersome, but it's, when you have the battery, its balance is kind of off, so that bigger battery does add a super light, a lot of weight. But when you put in the little one, okay, it's a little bit better. So that's with the little battery as far as your weight. Like I said, I'm gonna put it in the description. This is the bigger one. Okay, it's a little bit back heavy. It does give you a lot more run time versus the smaller one. Excuse me. Build quality, it's very well built. Echo does build some really good stuff. In my last video that I did a review on this saw, I do recommend this. This is like an 8.5 out of 10 as far as the battery saws. Oil reservoir for the bar oil sits right up front. Easy access to it. Still got plenty in there. The hole's pretty good as far as how wide it is, so it's, you know, pretty easy to refill. If you're kind of cumbersome, you might want to get a little funnel. Could help you out. One thing I do like about this saw is the bar wrench is stored up underneath, okay, and it's just good to have if you need it. I don't know if it'll stay in there in the field, you know, when you're doing some work. You know, it probably will wear out as far as the little holder itself. So how long this little wrench will stay there, we'll find out. So I've had enough use of it as far as cutting wise to really kind of get the overall feel of it. This is one feature I did like about this saw that they did on the top handle, and that is they did a captive nut also, and it's got 2 nuts versus the 1 nut on the top handle, but it does have it where these nuts will hold on to place. So the chances of losing them out in the middle of the brush, you know, it kind of help you minimize that. I love that Steel has started doing that on all their pro saws. It does get aggravating when you do lose these and you have to search for, you know, 20 minutes to find them. That's why I started keeping a couple spares in the chainsaw kit box. Power, this is probably equivalent to maybe a 40 to 45 cc gas saw. It's not the best, but it's not terrible, okay? It will cut some decent hardwoods, but it tends to bog down. when you start trying to take bigger bites as far as diameter wood. This is kind of some of the pros. One thing I noticed about when I was cutting with this saw versus this saw is this saw seems to get overheated a lot faster than this one. Okay, and I don't know if it's just maybe the constant run time of I'm trying to cut a larger piece than as if I'm in a tree and I'm cutting a smaller diameter limb. I'm not really sure on that, so don't take this segment, you know, as like, oh, this is a manufacturer defect. It could be user error on my part. I just haven't quite figured it out. I'm still newer to the saw, but I'm trying to give you guys an honest review of this piece of equipment before you go and buy it. When I'm cutting a larger diameter piece, it's probably like an internal safety just to keep the motor from heating up, but it'll stop cutting, and it won't let me continue to cut until that motor kind of cools down. At first I thought it was maybe the battery was overheating, but it wasn't really. Like when I pull it out, it wasn't any temperature difference when I'm using this one, but I think it's just more of a safety issue to keep me from burning the motor out. It's a lot of these battery saws, and I think they just made a safety mechanism to keep you from burning your motors up. So, you know, that's just something to look for when you're getting a battery saw. Is, you know, is it going to overheat? Would I buy this saw, you know, as a professional trying to get, you know, baseline equipment? Probably not. I would be getting more of a gas saw, and at least into the 50cc range if I was trying to start off. Like I said, this is more of a secondary. Actually, it's not even a secondary. It's more of a third choice saw to grab if in case something goes wrong. I personally got it. Like I said, I got it for when I'm doing my chipping. I can easily cut limbs before I go put them through the chute, or if I got like small stuff like cutting a little crepe myrtle or a bush out, you know, I can just grab this. Or if it's somebody new learning how to do it, you know, this is kind of the perfect saw for them. Price point, I'm gonna say this is a very good price point. I think it's right at the 300, maybe 330 range. I think it's around the 330 or 340 range. I'll have to look. For somebody who doesn't want a saw just sitting around all the time and maybe want something that just, hey, pop in a battery and go, battery saws are probably going to be the better choice. As far as overall on this saw, I'm going to give it a solid, as far as performance, I'm going to give it a solid 4.5, maybe 5 out of 10. I feel like it lacks a lot of power. One thing I noticed about this saw versus this saw, and a lot of people probably in the comments are going to say this, your bar length is going to be one thing, where this is, I'm running a 12-inch versus a 18-inch. So I've got a lot more drag, you know, per se on the bars. This top handle is going to spool up a lot quicker. Okay. Whereas on this one, it's going to take a second. If you watch, it's going to take just a small delay before it gets to full speed. Okay. So compare them again real quick so you can hear them. Just note that, like, when I was cutting, you have to wait until it gets into its full speed before you go and sink it into the wood. If you sink it into wood too early, it has a potential to stall out. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're running a battery saw or this saw. I'm not sure that all the battery saws do it. I'm just giving you the aspects of this saw. But anyway, overall, if I was going to rate everything on a scale of 1 to 10. Price wise, I'd give this a solid 8 out of 10, just because it is pretty affordable, and it's pretty comparable to a gas equivalent saw in that CC range. Like I said, it's probably in that 40 to 45 range class. I'll go back and see in the specs of it, and I'll try to put it in the screen there so you can kind of know what this is, or I'll try to put some specs on it. Overall build quality, I'm going to give it another 8 out of 10. Echo does build some really good stuff, so it's doesn't feel like it's cheap Chinese. It's going to fall apart in my hand. Like I said, I have been running this thing for almost a year now, and I'm just, you know, very impressed with its build quality as well. Performance wise, I'm kind of going to give it more of, I'm going to give it more of a 4.5, maybe 5 as what it could be. I think there's some work that could be done. I feel like the motor does overheat a lot, and I don't know if it's just the amount of wood you're pulling through because of the bigger bar or the longer bar and you're trying to cut, or maybe it's just the battery drained. I'm not sure. But would I recommend somebody to buy this? As a professional, like I said, I wouldn't be the first one to jump on this. If it was the only thing you had available, possibly. But if there's any other options, I would look for something a little bit better and more in your gas size. Homeowner, I think a homeowner that doesn't really do a whole lot of cutting, the occasional, you know, limbs or a small tree, I think a battery saw is really really the way to go. But anyway, let me get you some closer looks of it, okay? So there's the captive nuts on it that I was talking about. The chain tensioner is right there, easy access, so that's a good thing. The oiler on here, there's no adjustable oiler. I do not think so. Okay, I've been looking for it. It does oil pretty decent, but I wish it could put out just a little bit more. I feel like it gets dry a little bit too quick sometimes when I'm going through some heavy material. That's the only downside that I've been kind of I talked about the dogs on this. This one is like really small, but they are kind of a little bit pointier. Okay, these dogs are a little bit longer, but they're completely round, and I feel like I don't get any grip or anything. And I thought about taking a grinder and maybe just sharpening those up a little bit, you know, take the bar off and take the plate off. I may do that in the future just to kind of give it some aggressiveness. I don't know, I may see what's out there on the online market and see what's out there to get it. That's about the only thing I'd change on in this is the dogs. The battery does have a life on it. You should see all 4 of your bars. Click on it, pull that up, or pull this down, and it pulls out. Okay. I am going to say this on these E-Force batteries. If you get a replacement or a secondary on these ones, these are a little bit more expensive. Okay, been able to find these for, you know, sometimes around 140 to 150 range. These guys are been putting out about the 230 or 229 is about on average is what I've been seeing. So if you want a spare battery and you can't afford to spend that much, you can get one of these smaller ones, you know. They won't last as long as that one, but you know, if you can get it, you know. So that's just one of the things that I noticed on there is the cost of these batteries. They are on the expensive side, but anyway, I hope you find this video somewhat interesting. wanted to do a review on these battery saws. I just haven't seen a lot of content out there, and maybe you can find something interesting out of this video if you watch it. If you're liking the channel, the content, stick around. There's some good stuff coming. I've got some jobs that were recorded that I'm just got to get in the queue of editing. I do enjoy your all's comments. I try to read them and respond to them when I can. And yeah, if y'all got any questions, just drop them down below, and we'll see y'all on the next video. Peace.